Okay. So my name is Robyn Whitworth. Get a good view there. Right next to the camera. And I am a diamond coach with Beachbody. This is our team training. And tonight we're talking about how to message online. And I have it laid out in a 5-step process. From the very first time you connect with either a warm or a cold person, all the way until you close the sale with a share cart, or what to do if they ghost you or if you need to follow up. The good news is, for all of you, that I have this all in a slide deck that I am going to share with you. So you don't have to take a bunch of notes. But just because I did that doesn't mean that you don't have to be here and listen, because I think it's really important that as we go through the slides, we can have a lot of different, I'll be going through some different scenarios and life experiences that I've had, real life experiences. And the cool thing about these slides, I thought it was cool, is that all the examples I give you are real examples I have pulled from my messaging, either Instagram or Facebook. This is not stuff I made up. This is real stuff that I have said in messages to close a sale or to move somebody on. Now, I know there's going to be some questions on how to track people and how to, what's the word, you guys? Not track people, but when you're putting people on the list and then you're moving them around, isn't there a word I've been using for that? Did we call that tracking people? That sounds so weird. Anyway, tracking process with people? I don't know. There's a word, and maybe I need to make one up. I don't know. We could be Shakespeare. So I'm going to share like I said, I hope that this shares right. Sometimes it looks small and looks kind of weird. Or I can't see myself, so then I don't know if I look weird. Can you guys see? Thumbs up if you can see this. Like it's big, not tiny or something. And if anything is really weird and I'm not paying attention, text my phone or call me or something. Be like, Robyn, stop. Anyway, because I can't see the full chat box when I have my presentation going. Okay. So before you can start messaging people in the business, and I think this is so important. Do you guys see your guys' pictures along the bottom, or is that just me? You don't see anything except my slide? Okay. I need to be better about learning how to use this better. Okay, well anyway. So before you can effectively message people, you have to make sure that your content, because when you message somebody and maybe they don't know you very well or you haven't been in contact with them for a while, you need to make sure that your content is going to match what you're doing. Because if you message somebody and say, I'm hosting this amazing group with my team, or whatever you say, and they go to your page and there is absolutely nothing about anything that you're doing, that is going to burn the trust bridge and not even allow it to be built. And one of the other things you want to make sure that you're posting about, and that's why I called it do an audit, right? An audit is when you go back through everything, you reconcile, you make sure that you're true to what you're saying. Go to your social media today, tomorrow, whenever, or even have someone on the team say, will you do a social media audit for me, and go to my page and tell me what you know about me from the last 3 to 5 posts. And does your last 3 to 5 posts teach something? You want to make sure that you have tasty content on your page, or no one is really going to follow you and like your stuff. Because you're running a business. Your social media is a business networking tool once you decided to join an online business. So yes, we want to sprinkle in our personal stuff. When you go to the park with your family and those adorable family photos, all that stuff. We all want to see that stuff of our friends. But that should be like the icing on the cake. Like every 3 to 5 posts, you'll throw one in of your family, something personal. But most of your content needs to be tasty, which means it's valuable. It teaches something. It gives somebody an action step. It solves an urgent pain point that they have. You're showing a transformation photo, either of you, or it's transforming. You're asking them, like, how I changed this recipe. Like, it transforms something they're doing, or you're showing a transformation of some kind, or you address their why. And when I talk about their why, it's like, this person that you're talking to in your post is usually like an old version of yourself. What did they want so desperately to change? That's what I'm talking about when I say addresses their why. Like, when they come to your page, what are they hoping to find? What do you think they're hoping to learn from you? And it's usually something that your old self wanted to know. So before we start diving into that, just make sure that sometime this week you either do one yourself or ask someone and do a little social media audit and say, okay, from the last 3 to 5 posts, not your stories can be whatever the heck you want, but your posts, the actual posts that show up when people see like a little grid of your last few posts, what are they going to know? And it should hopefully be a few of the tasty items and then a few of your personal items sprinkled in. Okay. So I have caught myself saying, why do I have to do so many online messages? And I've even tried to do my business differently to where I didn't have to message people in social media. And while that is possible, while it's possible to do that through a lot of heavy email marketing and using Facebook ads really strategically and spending a lot of money there, that's how you do it without messaging people. Realize that in any business, in any realm of life where you're trying to network, you will have to make some type of connection. You need to make sales calls. If you're in any business where you're trying to get new customers, like even my husband, I don't know how many of you know, but my husband is an artist. He designs corn mazes internationally. And when they need new customers, he flies to networking places where there's farmers and all these things, and he sets up a booth and he has to talk to people. And he gets their information and he writes their name down. And then when he gets back to the office, he sends out information packets and tries to get a hold of them and see if what they have will solve a problem for their business. And I was like, oh, that sounds familiar. Any business does that. Any business you're in, somebody somewhere is making the contacts, okay? Whether it's the lady at Walmart that walks by and says, are you finding everything okay? That's her job. She's making a connecting point with a customer to try to solve your problem. So when we are reaching out in social media, which makes it so simple, that's what we're doing. We're making those contacts, and realize, just get it through your head right now, that 80% of everybody you contact is the person in Walmart that says, no, I don't need your help, I'm just looking. But the 20% that you connect with are going to say, actually, yes, this is what I'm looking for. Do you have that? Do you know what I'm saying? So get used to the idea that 80% of the people you connect with you're not going to be able to solve a problem for them. So they're not going to be someone that buys from you. That's okay. But 20% of them are going to buy from you. So kind of think about that and think, okay, if I'm inviting 10 people a week, over time, somewhere, 20% of those people will buy from me. That's why people will say, well, up your numbers a little bit, because it just ups that percentage so that you'll find the 20% quicker. But that's why we're messaging in online messenger or Instagram, or, sending little Marco Polo blips or whatever you're doing. That is why you're doing that. It's a business thing. It's normal. You have to connect and build a network. It's an avenue where you build trust. It's a place where you can serve people. We got to be able to connect with people. So how to message online effectively. And like I said, this is kind of still preface stuff, but I have it all laid out in my slides. And then at the end, I have one slide that has every single step recapped, that if you want to take notes and like put it by your computer instead of like something you'll have to print out later, that's going to be the slide that you'll want to like screenshot and print out or write down. But so don't worry about that till we get there. So what not to do? Let's look at these examples. Hi, Robyn. I just joined this incredible company. I'm loving it. I invited you to my free community to learn more. I hope to see you there. These are actually messages that I have received from other network marketing people. And I do not like them. And I've learned why. And I'm not going to say that I've never used these in my whole Beachbody career, but I will tell you that these are ineffective, right? This is what not to do. I hope to see you there. You guys, hope is a word that does not inspire action. Hope is like a really kind, meek, humble word. But when someone says, I hope to reach Success Club, in my mind, that means they don't intend to do everything in their power to reach Success Club. Do you hear how that word hope is like soft and like it doesn't inspire action? You know, I hope to see you there. It's just kind of like, okay, putting the ball in their court. But if you say, I expect you to be there, what time can you be there? Then I know there's no question, right? You see how like, don't hope for people to act. When you are directing people to a solution, don't use that kind of language. The other thing, this next one, hi, Robyn, I hope you don't mind me asking you this, but what the heck? That little phrase there, I hope you don't mind me asking you this, but that phrase, if you can Google it right now, because I actually did this past week to make sure that I was saying the right things, but that phrase, according to grammar, is something you use to preface when you're going to annoy somebody. You're hoping to not intrude on them. You're hoping to not say something too personal. Guys, don't use that word or that phrase in your messaging for Beachbody. Like, I would say, I hope you don't mind me asking you this, but if like my friend, thought they were dying of depression, or I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, I would be so careful how I use that language. It's like when you're in person with someone and you say, I don't know how you're going to take this, but like, that's really dangerous language. When someone says that to me, immediately my guard goes up. And I guarantee you that if you use that phrase in messaging, that person's guard just went up so high, they're going to be looking at you through a little peephole in the wall. Like, they will not be open to whatever it is you're about to say, because that phrase will close them up. So be careful. And this next one. Hi, Robyn. I'm holding a get-together for my friends online this weekend to check out some amazing products I love. Let me know if you want an invite. Don't use that phrase, let me know. Like, that is like totally making me do all the work, just wondering it's like, if she wants me there, doesn't she just want me there? Why not just directly invite me? Do you know what I mean? Let me know if you want an invite. That's so standoffish that it comes across like maybe she doesn't know if I really want to be there. Maybe she doesn't know if she wants me there. Like, she's just throwing spaghetti against the wall. I don't want to be spaghetti against the wall. I want someone to come to me with an open, real intention with genuine interest. That kind of a phrase tells me that they're not. It's too much in my court for me to think that they must really think I have an intentional interest. And then this last one at the bottom. Sorry to bother you. I know you're busy, but you guys don't apologize. Like that, if you are intentionally messaging someone to change their life, do not begin with an apology. Like, do you see how that is like, okay? So what not to do? Don't hope for people to act. Don't give them all the reins. Don't put it all in their court or ask for forgiveness for something you didn't even do. Like, don't use those types of language. They put people's guards up. They feel like you're too soft. They feel like you're scared about what you're doing. So we're going to throw that kind of language out the door. So the first thing that you want to do, steps to effectively messaging as a Beachbody coach. You could say as an online network marketer probably, but since I'm using specific messaging for Beachbody coach, I wanted to make sure and put that in here for anyone that watches this in the future. So your step one, you're going to connect with somebody and you want to be gracious and you want to be direct. One of the things, since I have been a Beachbody coach, that I have fallen victim to a couple of times, but I'm amazed how many times coaches within my team and coaches in other teams fall victim to this as well. They say, I don't like messaging because it gets so long and exhausting and I'm giving so much of my emotional energy to people and I hate doing it. Like it takes so long to talk to these people for so long. And I've only fallen victim to that a couple of times when I just wasn't as focused. And so what I'm talking about is when you make a connect with somebody and you start asking them questions about their husband and their family, and then they start telling you all their problems, and then you have to like go through this whole saga with them as if you're a therapist maybe. We don't do that as Beachbody coaches. That is not the goal of messaging people. You do want to connect. You do want to be so gracious that they are choosing to spend some time with you, but be direct. That is serving them so much, and it's serving you too. And if they decide to be a coach and give coaching a try, you want that to have been their experience. You don't want them to come into coaching thinking, I'm going to have to talk to all these people for so long because they remembered that they did that with you. So remember that every conversation you begin is quite possibly you demonstrating to that person what a coach does. So when you're thinking about building a team, you want to be very effective in your messaging because you're basically showing them right from the start kind of how this works, and they will remember. So, hi Robyn. I used my own name, but this is me messaging somebody. Hi Robyn, I'm so glad we connected online. Thank you for accepting my request, or thank you for following me if I'm on Instagram. I would love to know you better. Are you on a health journey too? I always ask that last question because, and I don't preface it with anything, I send this exact message like 98% of the time, unless it's like a high school friend and I choose to interject something else. But if I say, are you on a health journey too? That lets them know right from the get-go that that's what I want to talk about. And it makes sense because if they go to my page, they're going to be like, oh, she's a health coach. She's probably seeing if I'm interested. And if they're completely disinterested, they will tell me in that first message, and I'm grateful and they're grateful, and I know that. And I don't have to add their name to my list, and I can move on, and it's awesome. They're not somebody I'm going to try to pull along. I may jot their name down as somebody for a free group in the future if I feel like, you know what, they're always posting healthy recipes and they're always like running marathons. I'm still going to keep their name on my free group list. Then I'll take my little list, you know, my Spiralwell notebook, and next to, I'll write their name down and write a little FG next to it for free group to remind myself that I wanted to invite that person to a free group. But I will not continue messaging them about anything if they immediately come back and say, you know what, I'm not on a health journey and I'm really not really interested in that. Great. Don't be offended. Be excited that you're not going to be messaging with this person forever only to find out they're completely disinterested down the road. Like, I get so excited when someone is direct with me, but I find that the more I'm direct right up front is when they're the more direct with me up front. So that's why I asked that question from the get-go, and it works really, really well for me. So I tell them, thank you for accepting. I'm very gracious because I am. I'm super gracious that my network is expanding. And so even if they're not interested, I don't go and like unfollow them or unfriend them, because as we know in social media, when you follow somebody, it notifies your circles who you're following and liking. And when in Facebook, when you get a new friend and you post something public, it shows your friends' stuff. So make sure that you're realizing the value of people who are connecting with you, even if they don't need a solution that you have. So step 2, listen to what they respond with. And I put listen in quotations because obviously when we're messaging online, we're not really listening with our ears, right? We're reading with our eyeballs. And so this is where skill comes in with being an online business owner. This is a skill you get to develop. You look carefully at their message, dissect their message as much as possible. What exactly did they respond with? And really internalize and think about that. If they said, I am not interested in Beachbody, don't say anything about Beachbody. That's what they responded with. You know what I mean? What are they needing? What are they good at from what they messaged you? You know what I mean? Like, are they confident about something? What are they asking you to do and not to do? Do they seem scared? Do they seem to be making excuses? Why would they do that? Do you know enough information to serve them somehow? Like when people are messaging you back, before you think you know what they want to hear, which I can tell you from experience, 99% of the time, what we initially think we want to respond with is not the right answer. Because we often, as humans, we respond in fear, especially as business owners, but because we want to be right. We want to make sure that we're both at ease. When if we take a step back and really analyze what they wrote, we can be so much more clear in our response. And as you dissect what they're trying to say, if you're just like, I don't know, if you're unsure what they're saying or meaning, instead of assuming what they would like or assuming why they said something, stay in that space with them, relate if you can, and then reiterate back to them what you think you're hearing. And always end with a question that will direct them back toward understanding more to see if you have a solution with Beachbody. I'm going to go through this, right? I'm going to give you some examples on the next page. So, step 2 is to listen to them by examining their words, then relate. So that's like, oh, I have kids, I get it. Or I'm a budgeter too, I understand a tight budget. Or, relate with them in some way. And if you can't relate with people at all, then they shouldn't be on your list. They won't do well in a group with you. But you relate, reiterate, so feedback to them what you said, and then direct the response with a question. So direct how they're going to respond to you by ending with a question. Always end with a question. So let's look at some examples. So, first person. I asked this girl if she wanted to do one of my groups. And she said, Robyn, I would love to do your group. We just can't afford it right now. And I responded, notice I did some color coding here. Oh, I'm so glad you want to do my group. I'm honored. Thank you for telling me that. So I saw she would love to do my group. In her message, she said, I dissected this. She would love to do my group. Guys, that's a big deal. She wants to do my group, but she can't afford it. She didn't say no. This wasn't a no. This isn't a maybe. This isn't somebody I should come back to. She would love to do my group. So I answered back, making sure that I addressed that. Oh, I'm so glad you want to do my group. I'm honored. Thank you for telling me that. And I most likely would have said that in a voice message just like that. And then I made sure to answer, but we just can't afford it right now with, you are concerned about the cost. Is that what's holding you back? And I suck at real grammar rules, so I probably really did put that question mark right there. I know I did because I copied these messages. Okay, so if you're really good at grammar, just take it with a grain of salt. I said, you're concerned about the cost? Is that what's holding you back? Right? Like I reiterated back what she said to me with a question mark, like, right? Okay, example number 2. This girl, I had connected with that connect question, and then I had said, are you on a health journey? And she said, hi there. No, ... I'm not on a health journey, but I think I probably should be. Ha ha ha, LOL, right? My response, oh, Jackie, I hear you. My journey has been a crazy path. Like I was relating with her, right? So like she said, I'm not on a health journey, but I like to relate that I wasn't always on one too, or that I get that like the health journey can be something crazy. Anyway, I said, I hear you. My journey's been a crazy path, but a good one. You said you probably should be. And I rewrote that to her, right? I reiterated back to her what she said to me. And I put it in quotations so she knew that I was quoting her. You said you probably should be on a health journey. Does that mean that you have some health goals out there for when the time is right? So I'm reiterating back what she said and then asking a question to make sure so that she can clarify that for me. Example number 3. Hi, thanks for reaching out. I am on a health journey. Trying to lose these last 20 pounds after my baby is tough. I don't know how you do it. And it's funny because I find that people like number 3, and I'm going to use these 3 people and how I ended up selling each of these guys a challenge pack in the last 3 months. So remember 1, 2, and 3 if you want. That 1 was somebody with money issues. 2 is somebody that's really just kind of blunt. And number 3 was somebody that likes to be chatty and they're super bubbly and they are really open about talking to me about their journey. So my response to number 3 was, hey, Heidi, you're so welcome. She said, thanks. So make sure to, you know what I mean? If they say thanks, say you're welcome. Congrats on the baby. I related, right? I knew what she said. I'm letting her know I really read her message closely. What a blessing. I've got 5, so I hear you, my friend. I'm sure you're doing better than you think you are. I made sure to answer that she's on a health journey. I'm talking about it in my message. And then I'm reiterating and making sure with a question that I understand where she's struggling. So I say, I'm sure you're doing better than you think you are. What are your specific struggles with your weight loss goal? Because she said, I don't know how you do it. And if she was sitting in my living room right next to me and she said, I don't know how you do it, I would ask her, I'd say, well, what are your specific struggles? What are you struggling with? Okay. So I related, I reiterate back kind of what they're saying, and then I direct what I want to hear from them back with a question. I want to understand what they just said better. So step 3. Now I know that there's a high number of my people that won't respond after that second, like my first question when I'm first trying to dive in. Some people go, oh, I want to continue on, and maybe they leave me for a couple of days. So anyway, that's why I put, if they continue on past step 2, this is when I'll add them to my list. I don't add them until I really start understanding if I have a solution for them. Otherwise, they kind of stay on my free group list. So if they continue on past 2, add them to your list and note what date you added them. And then you're going to be finding a solution and repeating step 2 over and over and over by listening, relating, reiterating, and directing with a question. You're going to go through that little process until you get to the point where they either cannot be helped by Beachbody or you know exactly what we have in Beachbody that's going to help them. So number 1, this is the financial lady. She answered me back. When I said, so is it, can I go, ooh, I can. So I said, you're concerned about the cost. Is that what's holding you back? She said, yes, ... Finances is what holds me back. We are just so tight with money these days. And I responded, got it. Guys, got it and I see are like the best things to answer people with. It helps them know you read it, you get it. It's the easiest way to let them know that you really did hear what they said. I use it a lot, even with you guys, you know, it's like my favorite way to like answer somebody. But got it. I'm a budgeter too. Do you have a specific budget for your health or an amount you'd like to keep it under? Be direct. Be direct with what you want to know so that you know if you can have a solution for them. She's not saying, I don't want to do this because of my finances. She's just telling me finances is holding me back. So I'm asking her, do you have a specific budget for your health or amount that you'd like to keep it under? Because even when money is tight, people still spend money, right? Like, even when money is tight, we go and buy milk for our kids. Even when money is tight, we find money for the things that we value the most. So if health is something that she would like to invest in, which I think by this point she probably does, then I like to find out if people budget for their health. Honestly, not a lot of people do. But if I ask that other question, or an amount you'd like to keep it under, a lot of times they kind of have a threshold amount that they will spend. Even when things are tight, like even for me and Chase, when things are tight, there's like an amount that's safe because we kind of always know what's in our bank account. And so like if something's like $20, even when things are tight, we can probably buy something for $20. Does that make sense? So I like to ask people that, because if they're a budgeter and they know their money is tight, chances are they're like me, right? This is my niche market. And I'll be like, or an amount you like to keep it under. Like, what's the amount that you would spend anyway? So then with lady number 2, oh, that worked last time. Yeah. She's the one that said she should probably be on a health journey. And I had asked her, does that mean you have some health goals out there for when the time is right? And she came back and said, well, yeah, I've got like 50 pounds to lose if I'm being honest, but that's so unrealistic right now. See, she's like this lady that I can tell is just like blunt. She's just laying it out there. And so I responded, I see. I remember feeling a similar way when I had to lose 40 pounds to get into a healthy BMI range. What seems unrealistic? Everyone's idea of what it takes to change is so different. Do you feel it's the time commitment, the eating patterns, the equipment you might need? Like, I'm just asking her, like, what is this unrealistic question? Really, right, reiterating back to her and then ending with specific questions that I want to know based on what I do know. And then with the lady number 3, who said, oh my gosh, I just don't know how you do it, but I have these 20 pounds to lose after baby. And I was just saying, oh, well, what are your struggles? And she came back and said, my struggles are always with food. Our life is so fast paced that I'm always grabbing whatever just to hold me over. And it's never very good choices. To which I responded, I see. There are some good choices I've come across that are pretty quick and easy, but I'd like to be sure that you'd even like them. So I don't jump right in with what I think she's going to want to know, because I don't know if she's going to value what I have to say yet. Like, anyway, so I just say, but I'd like to be sure you'd even like them. Haha. What does a typical day of eating look like for you? Because you guys, if this lady is seriously at the office all day eating out of vending machines, then I'll have a better direction of where to go and how Shakeology can help her and something she can eat at her desk. Or if she's like, well, I'm actually home all day, that gives me way better direction of how I can talk about the Fix8 cookbook, and she can make things at home with her kids. And do you know what I mean? But if it's just a couple fast food stops she's making, like that question, what's a typical day of eating look like for you, helps me in a lot of conversations when people are talking about how their nutrition isn't very good. Because then that gives me a peek into their day. Because when I say, what does a typical day of eating look like for you? I get all sorts of answers. Like, well, I'm just in the cookie jar all day, or I go to the office at this time and I usually, it's like, it really helps me to see if maybe they like Mexican food, or I don't know. I just think that's a really good way to answer stuff when people are worried about their health choices. But I'm still doing this thing with, I'm relating back to them. I'm reiterating back to they said, and then I'm directing. I am the director of these discussions. Okay. I'm directing where I want it to go with that ending question. So step 4, hopefully by this time you have enough information to kind of be thinking, I think I know what's going to be the best for them. I think I know. And at that point is when I start building the value of it by continuing to ask a couple of questions, proposing some solutions. And this is the most important part that I find most coaches do not do, is be the authority of Beachbody. You are the Beachbody coach talking to them. You be the authority. Don't send them Autumn's video. Don't send them Darren O'Lean's video. Don't send them whatever video you're thinking will explain it better than you. You are this person's connection with Beachbody. They want to hear it from you. I guarantee you that 100%. I have rarely had someone say, do you have a video about this I can watch? Or you said this study proved this. Can you send me to a website? You know what I mean? That's when I share the videos. That's when I share the YouTube stuff about Shakeology or whatever. I will never just send that to somebody without them specifically asking me for it. But I do use those videos a lot in preview groups and in challenge groups when I'm, explaining something. So those videos and stuff are awesome. But honestly, when you're making that initial connection and building your value to them as a coach, they need to hear it from you. They want to know what you know, to know if you really can be a coach for them and put their help in your hands. You know what I mean? You need to assume the authority. And if that's hard for you, realize that if you want to grow this business to be a diamond coach or a star diamond coach or whatever it is, I encourage you to think, if I was a star diamond coach, how would I be talking to this person? If I was a multi-star diamond coach and someone asked me about Shakeology, what would I say? Would I shoot off a video? You know what I mean? Like, how would I answer this person? So anyway, be the authority. So number one lady says, remember I asked her if she had a specific budget amount. She said, honestly, our budget would only be around $40 or $50 right now, which was honestly higher than I thought she was going to say. But in a few months, things should be better. Do you have anything like that? And so I took what she said, right? And I said, okay, $40 or $50. Immediately, you guys are probably thinking the same thing. I'm like, oh, the $39 bod, right? Or, you know what I mean? Because she's obviously wants to start something. She's like giving me this information. She said, but in a few months, things will be better. So then I'm like, oh, she is thinking this is going to cost more. So maybe in a few months, she'll actually get a full challenge pack, which is what I would, which I totally want people to start with because they have the best scenario for success, you guys. So then she says, do you have anything like that? So I respond, I understand. We actually do have something in that range, but I'd want to be sure it would be beneficial for you. What are your specific goals? So she's starting to get from me that I know, like off the top of my head, that there's products that are in that range. And she's like, oh, like I'm becoming more valuable to her by the minute. And then I'm asking her specific goals before I even suggest something, so she knows that I'm not just here to make a sale on whatever fits her budget as quick as possible. I'm really trying to serve her as best I can. So I'm asking her what her specific goals are. I don't want to just throw out bod and say, oh, we have bod for $39. That's totally doable. When maybe she hasn't told me yet if she struggles with nutrition. I don't know what her goals are. The only thing I know is that she says she wants to do my group, but she's worried about money. And I know that the most success she's going to have is with the challenge pack. So I want to make sure that that's exactly totally out of the loop before I just don't even tell her about it. So I ask, what's your specific goals? Okay, so I'm ending again with that question just to make sure, but I've built my value by assuming my authority that I know. I'm not saying, oh, well, let me talk to my coach and see if we have something in that price range. Do you see how that would kill my authority in like 2 seconds flat? Okay, and then by saying that I want to make sure it's beneficial for you, she knows that I'm not just out to make a quick buck, that I really care. Okay, so this second person, when I said, so what's so unrealistic for you to lose, this weight? And she's like, what's unrealistic? The time, just the time. Our days are jam-packed. I don't know how people have time to exercise and meal prep. It's unbelievable to me. That's what she told me. And I said, I remember thinking the same. I was very skeptical about what I do. I think that some people find the time when they consider the consequences of not finding the time later in life. That was the case with me. I'd like to invite you to try one of the fitness programs that I coach people through that takes 20 minutes a day. In my mind, I'm thinking T20, and includes a simple meal replacement to simplify and streamline the health game for you. Because I can get that this lady thinks that health goals are like totally unattainable. She thinks it's unbelievable. She thinks that all that exercise and meal prep is unrealistic. So I'm letting her know that there's actually, right? I'm assuming the authority here. I would invite you to try a fitness program that I coach people through that's only 20 minutes a day, has a simple meal replacement to simplify and streamline the health game for you. Does that sound like something you'd like to look at? Again, I'm not just throwing off products and all my personal experiences. I'm making sure that this is where they want to go because that's where I want to go. Does that sound like something you want to look at? So I'm being the authority. I'm starting to propose that there might be some solutions, but I've built my value as the coach in all of these scenarios. So let's look at the lady number 3, who is the bubbly lady that's trying to get weight off after her baby. And she said, when I asked her, what does a day of eating look like for you? She wrote, oh, my eating is horrid. It's out of control, LOL. I think she even sent a GIF of like a pig like eating something. And I responded, haha, that bad, huh? Well, I've got a meal replacement shake that I have used for 5+ years now that not only simplifies my day, but it includes adaptogen herbs that actually curb my cravings for junk food while helping me deal with my fast-paced days. I'm assuming the authority here, you guys. I'm not saying, oh, you should watch this awesome video about Shakeology. It'll tell you. Like, no, she wants to hear from me how I relate to her and how this helps. In fact, my food budget went down when I started using it because I stopped making pit stops at the pick-me-up places. Ha ha ha. Does that sound like something that would benefit you? That's where I left it. Does this sound like something that's going to benefit you? Step 5, we're at the last step. Closing the sale. So I've built my value. I've started to propose solutions. Let's hear how we end this out. And these are going to be a little bit longer because I want to show you how we actually got to the stage where I sent them a share cart and checked out. Remember, this is the lady that told me she didn't have any money. Okay? This is the lady that told me they had a tight budget. And I had asked her in the last one, I said, do you have specific health goals? Before, we have something in that price range, but I want to make sure it's going to be the thing that's going to benefit you. What are your specific goals? And she said, my goals, so we're finally getting to it, right? Because she said she wanted to do my group. My goals, lose about 10 pounds, stop eating junk food, and get more energy. And I'm like, wah! My response, well, I got good news, my friend. Those 3 things are things that my groups help people with every day. I'm so excited for you to get started and feel amazing, right? I'm assuming, right? She said she wanted to do my group. So I'm really excited for her to get started. I totally think she's going to buy from me. I have a package that includes an online gym membership, a daily nutrition shake that's proven to curb junk cravings, and is proven to give people more energy without stimulants. Would that be something you'd like to look at? And she responded, yes. Nothing about price, right? Because the value is so high by this point that she wants to look at it. Even though her budget's tight, she said yes, because the value is so high right now. I'm solving all of her problems. And I said, great. What's your best email? I'll email you a link to look over. Then I send her the basic BOD challenge pack through ShareCart, which is SAC right here. And then I immediately, at the end of a ShareCart, it says copy this link, like a shareable link. I always copy the link and then I go back to my message and I say, so I copy the shareable link into our message thread and I let them know. And I always say, you should have an email to look over, but in case it went to junk, I copied the link here. Did it work okay? I always ask them if the link worked. And she said, the link worked fine, thank you. This is out of my budget right now, but I'd love to save for it. Okay, so I sent her a challenge pack, even though her budget was only $40. And so I wasn't surprised by this message and I wasn't turned off by it. She said, I love to save for it. You guys, that is successful points in the future. This is awesome. So I said, okay, awesome. You can get just the online gym for $39 for 3 months. So I want to throw out there that there is something in her budget right now in case she's just super eager. But I want to be honest with people. I said, but honestly, I wouldn't suggest that to you when I know that you want so much more. The best scenario for your success and to keep it simple would be that pack. Is this something you'd need to discuss with your spouse, or do you know when you'd be ready to purchase? Sometimes I like to throw in that question about the spouse because a lot of ladies say, oh, my budget's really, really tight, because they're afraid to ask their husband to spend something on themselves. That's honestly like 90% of it. Sometimes people really are just in dire straits, but a lot of it is because they're afraid to ask their husband. So I like to throw out that I get that. And I'll be like, is this something you need to discuss with your husband, or do you know when you'd be ready? So she might say, oh, I'll be ready in 2 months. I've had lots of different responses to that exact little question there. And this particular lady said, I want to mention this to my husband and see what he thinks. And I responded, okay, he might surprise you. And she goes, he did. He said to go for it. So do I just follow this link? And I was like, boom. Almost every time when they go and ask their husbands don't care. And I said, yes, follow the link. Be sure to customize your flavor of the shake. Chocolate's my favorite. In the drop-down menu, when you get your confirmation email, let me know, and I will get you on my official client list so you can be part of my groups if you'd like. Super excited for you, my friend. And that was the end. She bought her challenge pack. Okay, so this is example number 2, taking you all the way through the share cart. When I had said, I have an idea of a program that's 20 minutes that comes with a nutrition shake. Is that something you think would benefit you? Something you'd like to look at? And she said, right, this is the really blunt lady. She said, sure, I won't guarantee I'll do it, but sure, you can send it, thanks. My response, I used a really quick Beachbody link because with people like this that are like super blunt, I know they don't want fluff. They don't want any extra steps. So I don't even send them a share cart because that's too much for them. Like they want now. And so I got on my app of Beachbody Links, Baby Links app, and instead of the share cart. And I sent her the pack immediately. I said, I can do that. Here's the link to the package I mentioned. Did it come through okay? Right? Very direct. She put, yep, that looks interesting. Do I have to be part of a group or can I just do this on my own? So I'm like, okay, she's worried about the group, but she's not asking me about price. And then I said, you can do whatever you want with it. But my clients do find a group to be a fun avenue with it. And you get free access to my groups as long as you have a subscription to this online gym that comes in the package. I'd love to have you in my groups though. So letting her know that I do want her in there. People want to know that they're wanted. And I said, will you be purchasing that today then, right? That's the golden question you need to be asking people. Will you be purchasing that today then? And the lady said, yeah, might as well. I need to do something. I just laugh at these people. And I said, okay, awesome. When you get your confirmation email, shoot me a message. I'll let you know what groups I have set up to see if any of them are something you want to do with me, right? She's worried about doing a group. I don't even think I knew what groups I had set up when I was sending this to her, but I wasn't worried about it. She wanted to buy this package. She was interested. It had a solution for her. Let's get her started, okay? And I said, I'll watch for your order. Okay, so this is lady number 3, the really bubbly lady that sent me, I told her about her eating was horrid, right? And I said, hey, well, I know that I've got this shake, and asked her if it's something she'd like to look at. And she said, sure, I'd love to look at it. Thank you. I said, great. What's your best email? I'll put the package together for you and you'll be able to look at it all together. So she gave me the email and I sent her a share cart. And then I went back and said, email is sent. I'm including a link here as well in case it goes to junk. Did that link work okay? Or did you get the email in the clear? Like, I really want to make sure that they go through and check the email or check out the link. She said, yep. Oh, that looks so awesome. And I said, I'm glad you think so. If you'd like to jump into one of my groups, I'd love to have you. Do you think you will be purchasing today? Right? I'm directing with my questions where I want this to go. And she said, I think so. I hate that answer because I'm like, no, I want to know. We're not thinking. So I'm like, great. I want to watch for it to make sure it goes through smoothly. About what time should I look for it? Around 5 after I get home from work. Got it. Okay, I'll watch for it. So around 5:20, I put a little note on my phone to send me an alarm to follow up with her. Because a lot of these bubbly ladies that are like this, really conversational, they honestly forget a lot. They don't mind reminders. So I set an alarm for 5:20 just to follow up with her. And I put, hey friend, I'm in the office for a bit. Haven't seen your order yet. Are you still thinking that you'll send that through this evening? And she said, yes, I forgot. I'll do it right now. And I said, okay, great. When you get your confirmation email, will you shoot me a message? And she said, yes, okay, doing it now. And she ordered. So recap, you guys. Step 1, connect, be really gracious that they're spending time with you, and then direct where you want that conversation to go. Step 2, listen to what they said. Pick it apart, really analyze, examine their words, then try to relate to them, reiterate back what they said, and then direct where you want this to go with a question. Step number 3, right? If they've made it past step 2, keep doing the same thing. You're looking for a solution by repeating the listen, relate, reiterate, direct. Step 4, build on the value. Assume the authority. Start proposing that there might be a solution. Asking them, is that something you think will benefit you? Before you're sending any links to these people, make sure that you're building your value as a coach. Step 5 is when you close the sale. You send them the share cart. You follow it up and find out if the link worked. You find out when they're purchasing. And then make sure that whatever they told you, if it's today or tomorrow, that you get on at that time. Whether you're in the theater or in the restaurant, like if you want these people, they want you to help them stay committed, honestly, is the truth. So this is the little part. If they ghost you, you guys, go to their page and see if they're online a lot. If they're not online, like if their last post was like 2 months ago, I scratch them off my list. Because somebody that's not online is not going to succeed in an online health group. Just let that be how it is and don't feel bad. There's plenty of other people that like to be online that will succeed so much better in your groups. If they are online and they're just not getting back to you, make a note to comment and like on their stuff for a few weeks. Make a note of the date, right? And then follow up with a free group invite sometime in the next couple months. Like I was telling, I use letters FG next to their name on my list and then the date to invite. And then if they end up doing a free group with me, I kind of start over the whole thing. I keep them on my list for a year, but if nothing ever happens, like they don't ever get back to me and they never do a free group, I scratch them. So the bottom line, this is going to take practice, but this is how you help people learn about Beachbody and what solutions that we have. This is how you take care of your people, by following up, by being really direct. Don't drag people. Offer real solutions to their real problems, not what you think they need. Let them direct it so that it's valuable to them. Give them a friend to be in their corner on their health journey. You don't have to be in any other corner. You don't have to be their support if their spouse isn't awesome. You don't have to be their support when their grandpa dies, but you are their person that is there to support them on their health journey. That's your job as a coach, okay? Be the coach that you would want talking to you. So sometimes you have to look back and be like, if that was my question, how would I want somebody to answer that? Like, don't drag people through all sorts of conversations that you wouldn't want to be dragged through. So let's help each other. If you have questions, get into the team and share. You know, if you have conversations that are not going well, get in and say, I'm struggling with how to answer this person. I don't know what to say. Like, anyway. Okay. So that is all that I had on slides. Like I said, I will put that slide deck in our team page files so that you guys can copy any of them and have that on hand. Smile. Okay, you have to send it to me. All right, so questions. You guys can unmute yourselves, I think. Sorry, allow participants to unmute yourselves. Questions, comments about this material?
That's awesome.
Was it good?
Awesome.
Useful?
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Well, Sandra liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the best ways that I've heard inviting and the flow through the conversation, like being laid out. Because up until now, it's always been like, okay, send the invite, figure out what their objections are, like rebut the objections, give them a reason that, you know, that kind of a thing. But this makes it so much more like just each response is thought out in a certain way. And I think that makes a lot more sense than just trying to like get through the conversation to different points. Which, I mean, we still kind of are, but it's a lot more tactful.
Thank you for that feedback. I hope that it helps you guys in your conversations.